Greetings everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing wonderful today. I'm Lady Starfire, and today I'm going to talk to you about writing rituals. This is a continuation of last week's videos where we're talking about writing spells and such. So in writing rituals is similar to spells, but a lot more involved, okay? So I do have my outlines here. Make sure I don't run off on any little tangents, shiny squirrels, mountains, balls, whatever. So first thing I want you to do, if you don't already have it ready, go get your pen and paper so you can write this down. Okay? So just click that pause and run go get it. When you come back, start it back up. Because you're going to want to write down these steps. It's really important. Okay? So all right, so the first thing is your ritual needs list. Okay, this is your outline for what you need for writing a ritual. Okay, we'll also have an outline for performing a ritual, but this one is for actually writing the ritual. All right, number one, what is the reason for the ritual? Now, are you writing a prosperity ritual, a new moon ritual, a full moon ritual, a Sabbath ritual? What is your reason for the ritual? Okay, there has to be a reason. Now, you don't want to do a ritual for something that you can do a little couple-minute spell for. So, you can do spells within rituals, and it adds, to me, more oomph to it and kind of gets it out there a little quicker and faster. But writing a ritual and doing a ritual takes a lot more work also. So we need a reason for this ritual. All right. So next, you want to write out, what you want to say and do in the ritual. All right. So, and then you want to read over it and rewrite it. Read over it again. Rewrite it again. Keep on until you go, that's it. I have all of my I's, not my don'ts. All of these sorts of things, are in there properly. So, no matter what it is you're trying to bring to you or whatever your purpose is, you want to make sure that everything is written in a positive way. Even if you are doing some sort of banishing ritual, to get rid of some stuff, still, I need, everything cleansed and protected and safe for me, and remove all negative energies. Okay, so there's always a way to word it in the right way so that the universe, the powers that be, the entities that help, don't misunderstand anything. Remember about being specific. Okay, yes, you can be too specific in some types of things, but you need to be specific on what it is that you're trying to achieve. Okay. All right. Number 3, what are you going to do in this ritual? Are you going to be lighting candles? Are you going to be writing petitions? Are you going to be dancing? Whatever it is, what do you plan on doing in this ritual? Besides having the reason for it and writing out whatever you're going to say, what all do you plan on doing? All right. So, you have to think through all of it. Number 4, choose what items you're going to need in the ritual based on what you plan on doing and what it's for. Okay. So you're going to be using herbs, candles, incense, and just your regular altar items. Don't forget to list them as things you need. Your God and Goddess candle, if you use them, your athame, wine and cakes, your pinnacle plate for that, your salt, your water, your incense, your censer, all of these things, plus whatever goes along with your ritual. So always list all of your altar items as well, because you may have grabbed your athame to go do something somewhere else and didn't put it back on your altar, and you get ready to cast your circle and oops, no athame. So now you have to go remember what you did with it, go find it, and your whole energy for your ritual is just kind of blown at that point. So list all your altar items, everything you're supposed to have. Are you supposed to have flowers? Whatever it is, write it all down so that you can prepare for it. You're not just going to sit down, write a ritual, go do it right now as a general rule, unless it's an emergency. And then hopefully you have everything that you need. But, you're going to prepare for this. So write it all down. Have your list. Have your grocery list if there's things you need to go buy. Okay? So, don't rush through it. Take your time. Make sure it's right. All right. Number 5. Who are you calling for your quarters or what? All right. Because when we cast a circle, we're going to have our quarter protection. So are you calling on elements and elementals? Are you calling on archangels? Are you calling on dragons, fairies? Who are you calling? This is something you need to know ahead of time. If you don't know who you're calling for quarters, then you can't do a ritual yet. And so you need to figure out who you work with, who you can work with, who you're comfortable working with. If you have never worked with dragons, please don't go in there and start trying to call dragons for your quarters. They will eat you. As the saying goes, or you are crunchy and taste good with ketchup. Okay, so let's not do that. Don't call an entity of any kind that you are not accustomed to working with and haven't been properly trained in working with them. It's just one of those things that if you're brand new, then you're better off working with your spell. Maybe not casting a circle until you have a little more training. Okay. So, and this is what I'm trying to help you with. I'm trying to teach you the ins and outs and the do's and don'ts and stuff like that. I mean, you can call the elements. I'd be careful about calling the elementals, but you can call on the elements. Just be sure to dismiss them, and we'll get into that in the outline. Okay. So that may be the safer thing for you if you're new and don't know. No, you cannot use gods and goddesses for your quarters. No. Okay, just don't even. Okay, so, but what deities are you calling? Or are you calling on them? Are you going to call on a god and goddess? If so, who? Once again, make sure that these are deities that you work with, and make sure these are deities that work well together. Don't just up and go, well, I think maybe I'll just call on Odin and Hecate. Please don't do that. Don't. Just don't. Or Kali or some of these other ones. They're just not ones that you just up and call to a ritual, especially if you don't work with them. Now, if it's your god and your goddess that you work with all the time, then yes, that's who you should be calling. But I've seen and known of people that every ritual, they call on some different deities that they've never called on before. Some that can be okay with. There are some that you just really don't want to do that if you don't know what you're doing, especially. Don't try to have a Santeria ritual if you're not trained in Santeria, or a voodoo ritual, or a Sumerian ritual, or, any of these things. Don't try to have them if you don't know what you're doing and you're not trained and you don't have somebody that knows what they're doing, because you're liable to blow up everything, okay? So be careful and make sure that whoever you're calling, if it is someone different than you normally do, that's someone that maybe presides over that sort of ritual of whatever it is that you're trying to obtain, okay? So, be careful about your deities. If you're new, do a lot more research before you start doing rituals. All right? Number 7. How are you going to cast circle? Do you know how to cast a circle? Yes, I will do a video on, casting circle. But are you going to use an athame? Are you going to use a wand? You're going to use a sword? You're going to use your finger because that's all you got? What are you going to use to cast your circle? A circle is physically cast. Now, there are some people that like to take salt and put it in a big circle. That's okay. And if you are by yourself, your circle can be this big if you want. And when you call your quarters, you can just simply turn, right there in place if need be. You don't have to have a giant room. If you have it, that's awesome. Makes it a lot easier. If you don't have an altar room, you have an altar space, then use what you got. It's okay. Like I said, if you're by yourself, you don't have to have a giant room. It's just a whole lot of walking for you. All right. Remember to use what you have and make use of it. It's really okay. All right. Just make sure that you're doing things in the right way and with the right mindset. All right. So, we figured out how we're going to cast a circle, what utensil we're going to use, what tool, our deities, our quarters, are you going to use just salt and water? Are you going to use sandalwood sea salt, and water? What type of incense are you going to use? Please do not use stick incense. If that's all you've got and you're having to do a emergency ritual, fine. Heck, I've used a cigarette before when that was all I had. But you're planning a ritual. Get you a cauldron and some powdered incense or charcoal with herbs on it, something that bellows out smoke. Trying to consecrate a circle, doing this with a little stick of incense, looking like you got a dadgum sparkler going around there, it just leaves a whole lot to be desired. Like I said, that's all you got. That's all you can afford. Fine. At least maybe have several sticks so that it creates more smoke. All right. Yes, I hate stick incense in case you can't tell. So, number 8, how are you going to dismiss your circle? Please don't ever let me hear that you go if you must, stay if you will. No. Wrong. Never, ever, ever leave any quarter that is called, no matter who or what you're calling, allowed to just hang out. Number 1, they got better things to do. Number 2, they don't need to just hang out. You called them for a purpose. The purpose is done. So now we dismiss them. Thank you for your attendance, for your protection, for your aid. Hell and farewell. Okay? Always. As far as your God and Goddess goes, thank them for being there. They can stay if they want. They can go if they want. They usually do anyway. Okay? Your choice. You can say hell and farewell to them if you like. They might leave. They may not. Who knows? Depends on who you call, too. Are there going to be other people there in your ritual? And if there are, do they play a role in the ritual or the spell that you're doing in that ritual? You need to think of all this. Also, if you are hosting the ritual, even if you're a neophyte, you're technically the high priest or high priestess of that circle. Therefore, you are responsible for everyone within that circle. Somebody gets in there and you do something wrong and they get possessed or some kind of other crap, you are responsible. Don't let people in your circle, number 1, that you don't trust. Make sure everybody knows what the rules are, what their role is, ahead of time before you get in there, before you allow them in. Make sure that all their baggage is left at the door. All of these things are really, really important. Don't just go, hey, friends, I'm fixing to have a circle. Come on over. And you don't know anything, really about them, their mindset. Are you going to remember to tell them no drugs, no alcohol, no anything before going into a ritual? Because that goes for you too. Drugs and alcohol of any kind do not belong in ritual, other than the ritual wine that is used if you use it when you do your wine and cakes. Okay? That's not necessarily done in every ritual, but it should be. Even if it's just you. You've got enough drink of some sort, okay? It can be juice or whatever you want, preferably juice or wine, enough for you and enough to pour out for the god and goddess. Same thing with your cake, cookies, whatever you're using is, one for you, one for them, or two for them if if you want to leave one for each deity. So, but all of these things are important, okay? You can't just go, well, I'm going to skip that part. No. If you're going to do it right, or just don't do it at all. I'm just a firm believer that if you're going to do something, do it right. Then if something messes up, well, hey, go back and figure out why. But as long as you know you followed all your steps and you're doing it right, everything should go as planned, okay? Granted, with magic, sometimes plans can get changed, but it should go well. But you've got to make sure that you are doing everything possible to cover all your bases, okay? All right, so this kind of covers our needs outline. Don't think I have forgotten anything. All right, so now actually putting together the ritual. Kind of covered some of it, but this one will actually be your ritual outline. All right, so start a new page and name this one, your ritual outline. Because this is what you will use every time you're putting together a ritual. Okay? So the first thing you'll do at the top of your page when you're doing a ritual is the name of ritual. Okay? Full moon prosperity ritual. All right? Whatever it is. Beltane Sabbath ritual. Whatever your ritual is, that's going to be at the top of your page is the name of your ritual. All right? Number 1, purification. That means cleanse yourself before going in and starting your ritual. Take a cleansing bath, whatever. If you're doing a prosperity, throw you some, money oil or, some money bath salts or something, in that water. Just some sandalwood sea salt to help cleanse you if you want. However you want to do that, but because you want to cleanse away all negativity. This goes for anyone else that's going to be in the ritual with you. Okay? Helps to remove a lot of that baggage and not have so much negativity. Doesn't mean take a ritual bath that morning because now I'm going to work and then I'm coming to ritual. No. Now, not everybody sometimes has a chance to go do that. If you're doing this by yourself, make it part of your list of things to do, okay? But there are still ways of doing an individual cleansing. I make spiritual water. Do that before you walk in. Release all that negativity. There's all sorts of ways. You can sprinkle each other down with your charged sandalwood sea salt water and smoke them with the incense. All these things can be done if you don't have time to actually take a ritual bath. Okay? All right. Number 2, set your altar. Now, even if you have an altar that's up all the time, you need to go before you do your ritual bath. These are all things that just have to be done, okay? But this should already have been done prior to now of setting up everything. So, but while you're writing your ritual, you're going to name everything that should be in that ritual. Okay? All your altar items, you're going to take that from this list, okay, of everything you figured out, and you're going to put it here. These are all my altar items. You're doing a spell and ritual, include all your spell items, your herbs, your oils, your candles, whatever all you need in that circle needs to be on this list. And then when you get ready to, start your stuff, you need to go down and check off your list and make sure everything is there and in place. Okay? Remember, we don't want any last minute, oh no, I forgot matches, I got to go get them. Okay? Put it on your list. That way you don't forget it. Okay? Now, So now we've had our ritual bath. Our altar is set. All of our items are here. Our phone is where? Turned off and somewhere else. Okay? We don't want phones in ritual. Never a good idea. We have our private time. All right? So that nobody's going to be disturbing us. And we're in our space, ready to start. First thing you're going to do is take your athame sword or wand, okay, or hair, whatever it is that you have that you're going to cut your circle or cast your circle, all right? And you literally are going to point down at the ground when you do this and envision this laser beam, flames, whatever it is you want coming out, okay, and cutting a circle, all right? Like I said, I'll get more into that in one on casting a circle. But this is, your steps here, as you're going to cut, you're going to cleanse, that's with your sandalwood sea salt and water, and you're going to consecrate your circle. Okay, that's with the incense. So, make sure that you have all these things. Make sure that you know the chants for charging all of this stuff. Now, you can get a lot of this in my video on cleansing, because it's the same type of thing other than you're going around in your circle instead of your house or something. All right. Number 4, call your quarters. Okay, you should have already figured out who you're calling. All right. But number 4 on your list is call your quarters. Make sure that you have the proper wording for calling each one, what direction they are. Make sure that you have your altar set up in the north, unless you're somebody who wants it in the center. Check all these things and make sure all this stuff is right, okay? Once again, this is your outline, where you're putting in all of your stuff you're going to do in the ritual, all right? Number 5, back to deities. Are we calling deities? If so, now is the time to call them. That's on step 5. After we've already called our quarters and had everything else cleansed and all, then you call in your god and or goddess. All right? Then you're going to perform your ritual. Number 6, perform the ritual and any spell work that you're going to do or whatever. This is the section where you're going to do all of this. All right? Have your wording of whatever it is you're going to say, at the full moon, whatever, or at the Sabbath, whatever you're wanting to say, whether it's just to yourself or to the other people, of what it is you're bringing to this ritual and what it's about. If you're simply casting a circle to do spell work, fine. At this point, you're going to start doing your spell work. And then, once you're done, usually if you're having a candle for spell work, this is the one candle that stays lit, okay, even after you've, closed out your circle. All right, so do all your spell work. And then if you're doing wine and cakes, at this point, you will, do your wine and cakes after you finish your spell work. Do that part. Be sure that, they've been blessed by the goddess or the goddess and God, partake of that. And then you will dismiss your quarters. All right. Now, some people, and I'll get into this more when we do the other, but decide, are you going to dismiss clockwise or counterclockwise? Me personally, it's always clockwise. Some people do the opposite. If you're not doing your ritual at your home or your own personal property, you're doing it out somewhere else, it is a good idea to, once you have dismissed your quarters and you've dismissed your circle, then sweep away the energy, okay? You don't want somebody accidentally walking through the energy that has been left over from your circle. Have your besom and literally sweep the ground, to dissipate those energies out into the universe. Okay. Once again, I'll explain this more whenever I get to the point of being ready to actually teach you, about casting circle. I've still got to decide on that one. So, once again, I hope you've made all your list. I will pop these up as a little picture on the video somewhere right up here probably. And that way, you can kind of look at it if you missed anything. But like I said, these are just your outlines. This isn't your ritual. It's the 2 things you need to do before you actually cast a circle. Now, knowing how to cast a circle is a whole nother thing besides your preparation for doing it. Okay? I hope this makes a lot of sense to y'all. Please share my video with somebody that might can use it. You never know, who you might help or save by sharing a video. Leave me some comments. Let me know if this makes sense to you, if there's something else that I can do to, make it better, help you in any kind of way. I'm always here to help. Subscribe if you haven't. Click the little bell if you didn't, and that way you'll get notified. Clicking that like button also lets YouTube know that, my videos are liked and the content is liked. So please, click that like button. It's free. It don't take but a second to click all the little buttons, okay? Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you to all those that have been buying me a coffee. I really appreciate it. And if you're interested, link is down there in the description. So I hope this helps you in learning how to write a ritual. We've already talked about the spells and how to do all of that. A lot of that information goes over into rituals. A lot of the steps that you're going to do for spell work are some of the same type of steps for writing rituals. Rituals are just, a bit more involved as a general rule because there's a lot of other things you have to do in ritual besides, just writing the spell. So, be sure to write it all down. Follow all the steps. Please don't skip a step. Don't cheapen your magic. Don't lessen it. Don't leave yourself in danger by skipping a step. All right, because this is just really, really important. And for those of you that managed to watch it this far after the other part that people usually click off, I appreciate you being here. That means that you truly want to learn. So leave me a comment down there and say, hey, I watched till the end. So anyway, I hope everything works out well for you. Happy ritual writing. And if I can help you in any kind of way, just contact me. I'll be more than happy to. So until the next time, blessed be.